We are back on the Best of Saturday Talk Radio on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180 on Taking Care of Business. Our guest in studio, actually we have one guest and a guest who's just hanging out.
Guest of a guest.
There you go, a guest of a guest. Our guest in studio is Brandon Martin, our very first guest about a year ago now, and he has just been appointed as the new director of the Small Business Development Center. Brandon, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. The job is, I've only been in the seat for about a week, but it's a dream come true. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, you know, Brandon, you're a young, bright, up-and-coming attorney, if I remember correctly. You also ran the media tent, or were responsible for all the media at the Bakersfield Business Conference this past year. You work with Morton Petrini Law Firm. You work with your dad, who's very successful, George Martin. Why would you take this job?
Well, it's something that I always wanted to do. It's just rephrased. When I was in law school, I did a small business clinic where we counseled, along with members of the Haas Business School, sat down with startups and businesses who wanted to expand and helped them work through the complexity that is our regulatory and economic environment today. And then after I graduated from law school, I began practicing law and got a lot of phone calls from people who, because of billable hour rates or because of other situations, I wasn't able to help. And that often was small business people. And after I moved to Santa Barbara, was practicing CEQA, complex environmental law for developers, doing master plan communities, the economy changed so that you weren't doing a lot of 3,000 home master plan communities. My services weren't needed as much, and I thought to myself, do I really want to continue doing this, or do I want to start over and help the people who I initially motivated me to become a lawyer in the first place? And I'm so glad I made the decision to refocus my efforts with small business.
Have you got any specific goals and objectives that you've outlined for your new career with the Small Business Development Center?
Sure. Actually, I do. One of the first goals, well, maybe we should start with the idea of what does a Small Business Development Center do?
Good question.
So that people understand there's a baseline, what we're doing right now, and then there's where I'd like to take it in the future. Right now, we meet with people. We have a team of 20 top-notch consultants, including Clay Kerner, who are experts and eminent business people from...
Now, excuse me, Brandon, I have to interrupt you there. Clay Kerner is one of your consultants?
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay, go on.
I heard he knows something about health insurance for small businesses, but I'm not sure if he can, do you know anything about that, Clay?
Yes, I do, but I'd really like to concentrate on the Small Business Development Center today because it's really important that we get the word out. I don't think people are aware that this is a no-cost program that they can get a lot of assistance in.
And I'm sorry for interrupting. So continue talking about I was just amazed that, I thought you had upper caliber people in their chosen professions that were being the counselors. I didn't realize that you...
We have upper caliber people, and we have Clay, too.
Okay, there you go. Okay, I just,
All right, back to the question.
Thank you, Brandon.
And that's the great benefit. These are people who are retired executives. We were talking about oil earlier with Russell Johnson. I went to a presentation by one of our consultants, Sam Monroe, who was an executive with Chevron. He works with oil patch companies and independents, small businesses all over, using a lifetime of experience and business knowledge that Chevron thought was very valuable. Our clients, and that's what we call them at the Small Business Development Center. We'll be running it a lot like a law firm. These are clients, and they can sit down with Sam Monroe or Clay Kerner, people with a lifetime of experience, and we give them the consulting for free. They have to be serious. They have to want to create jobs and expand their existing small business or start something new and participate fully. But if they do, that consulting is free.
Now, Brandon, how does the SBDC help individual businesses other than, say, a consultant like Clay? What else would they use to help business? Are there meetings and...
Yeah, another thing we do is a kind of educational outreach system called workshops. We take top minds and educators, including people we have at the university at Cal State Bakersfield, and then attorneys, other professionals who want to come and teach. And we provide workshops that are... Sometimes they're free, sometimes they're $35, but they're never very expensive, and they're always a great value. I'd say 90% of them are actually free, you can go on our website and check out the list of upcoming events. But you find a topic you're interested in, something that matters to growing your small business, and you come and you learn. It's an hour-and-a-half presentation, and usually, in fact, I've never seen one where it hasn't happened, any small business person who comes to our workshop has the opportunity to ask questions of this particular expert and get their questions answered.
What is your website?
The website is csub.edu/SBDC, as in Small Business Development Center.
What about an existing business, someone that's already been in business 5, 10, maybe even 15 years? Can you help them?
Absolutely.
And
in fact, that's somebody that we're really looking out for. Our macroeconomic purpose is to create jobs and grow and get infusion of capital into our economy, build wealth here. Right now in this economy, some of the best opportunities to do that are with existing businesses that are looking to expand. I like working with existing businesses in particular because they have a lot of data that they have actually collected. They know where they're at, and they're still enthusiastic and entrepreneurial. They want to grow. And that's a perfect prospect for us to really help them out.
Our in-studio guest is Brandon Martin, the new director of the SBDC on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.
now you also work with the Small Business Administration in helping businesses get loans. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the most popular topics that we have in terms of people calling in asking for information on how they can grow their business or working with our consultants is whether they can qualify for or obtain an SBA guaranteed backed loan. And it's a complicated process. And it's one that, in theory, the SBA has a program that can provide capital through guarantee programs to businesses. We aren't the theory, we're the practice. We actually can help people who they want to spend their time thinking about irrigation if they're an irrigation business, or about serving people dinner if they're a restaurant. I want them to be able to focus on those things and getting better and more efficient at that, serving the people that they want to serve, and working with us to get up to speed on how to deal with the regulations or how to comply and get these loans.
One thing we started out with, Brandon, was that you're a young guy with a good future ahead of you. You've got some strong background, and you bring a lot to the table. But the biggest problem is starting out with any new business is, what do I do? How do I do it? Where do I go? And I think you're sort of blessed because you've got a mentor in John Pryor, who's a risk manager who's run this operation for the past several months. He also used to be the owner of KIA Insurance. And I think he's a great asset. You've been working strongly with John?
I absolutely agree. It's been, in fact, taking over the SBDC without John's active development, and he is still coaching me through the end of the month. And I've told him I'm going to secure his advice for years to come. John has put together an incredible team of consultants. Most of them come from John's personal Rolodex of friends and eminent business people. But his management skills have been extraordinary. And basically what I can do is take a great foundation that John has built and build upon that and make it even better.
I know one thing I can say, having been participating for the last few months, is that John spends a lot of time keeping us, the consultants, informed as to what's going on, which I really appreciate. He's also taken the time to mentor me personally, which I also appreciate.
Right. No, I mean, that's funny. John, probably the best thing that's happening to our SBDC is for me to come in and do some of the paperwork, and for John to get back involved more and more with clients, because he is excellent at helping people grow their businesses. I think originally he came on focusing as an insurance specialist because he's that's his background, as you mentioned previously.
Risk management, right.
Exactly. But when it comes down to it, he's one of our best general business consultants. He takes people through a balanced scorecard approach that was invented by a couple of Harvard professors years ago. I'm actually going to use that approach in running the Small Business Development Center, and it works even better for typical for-profit businesses.
I understand there's a new program that's coming that you're going to be implementing, something that was developed in Texas. Do you know anything about that?
We get a lot of our research data from Texas, and it's one of the benefits of coming to work for us or with us is that if you're a small business, for instance, you're into the retail sector, you want to open, and this is totally hypothetical, a cookie shop. we can actually take a look using data that originates from all over the country but is sourced from University of Texas. We can check out where your competitors are, and not just direct competitors, but often substitutes. And literally, it draws a concentric circle map, so we can see where your potential locations for your retail store might be versus competitors. Helps you choose a successful location.
That's a great concept. We're going to pick up there in a minute. We'll be back on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.